No one covers the SEC like this man, Chris Gordy from Locked On SEC. Chris, I've seen it. I'm guessing you've seen it. The idea that the SEC is no longer the standard in college football. So how do you respond to that?
Well, look, the idea is still this. Despite they're not playing for a championship this year or last year, the SEC still won 13 of the last 19 national championships in football. The NFL draft is coming up in a couple of weeks. Once again, we'll see the SEC will lead all conferences with the most players drafted, the most first-round picks. I watched the Texans playoff game the other day. You saw Derek Stingley Jr., Will Anderson, Ladd McConkey, Kamari Lassiter. I mean, the list goes on and on with all the SEC talent. But, guys, I just look at it this way. Look at the TV ratings. 15 of the 20 highest-rated college games this year were from the SEC. The top two were both matchups between Georgia and Texas. The reality is the SEC is still the standard. It's just a matter of you don't want to go 3 straight years without winning a national championship. They've done this before, and then strung along like 5-6 straight national championships. So I think they'll get back to that. I mean, look at next year. Texas and Georgia both projected to be playoff teams again. Tennessee as well. Ole Miss, LSU, and A&M are in the mix. So the SEC doesn't get their roses this year, but they expect to be back winning at a high level again next year.
When I think of college football on television, I get a little bit of Big Ten, but now I'm pretty much SEC. So yes, I know that we don't have SEC teams in the final, but I still think they run game. I mean, they are the standard, in my opinion. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely the conference that everything else in college football is judged off of. And to Gordy's point, just talking about ratings, I mean, they drive the viewership of college football as a whole. College football owes a lot to the SEC for bringing all that attention, and, I'm sure their fans would agree with that.
Yeah, no, the SEC has the biggest teams, right? And, I mean, to all of you guys' points, they had the ratings and all of that, but missing the national championship 2 years in a row, it is a little bit of we can call it a yellow flag, if you will, not a red flag. Also, maybe the Big Ten is kind of knocking on the door. All good things come to an end. I'm not saying it's happening, but it could be. You never know. Big Ten with back-to-back teams going to the Natty. You never know.
Parity. It's good for college football.
Chris, it's not coming to an end. It's not coming to an end.
I don't think it is. I mean, again, people always they want to ask what's the standard for the best conference? Well, is it the team that goes 12-0 and steamrolls everybody and everybody else is bad, or is it you got multiple 10-win teams? To me, that's the stronger case for the better conference, right?
You mentioned Texas. Now it appears as though this is Arch Manning's program. So, in your mind, what are realistic expectations for Arch?
Look, I think most Longhorn fans expect him to be really good next year. Now, will he be Peyton Manning-like? Probably not in his first year as a starter. But even in a small sample size this year, we got to see Arch throw, I think it was 90 passes, completed 67% of them, threw 9 touchdowns, rushed for 4 more, showed off his versatility and his wheels, only threw the 2 interceptions. The reality is the Steve Sarkisian system is very quarterback-friendly. Quinn Ewers threw for 3,400 yards and 31 touchdowns this season. I think those are fair numbers to expect from Arch next year. They're going to throw it a ton. Look, guys, he was the number 1 recruit in the nation for a reason. It's not just because his last name was Manning. He's an elite talent. I expect him to be elite next year.
Will he be elite?
I think so. Just look at the sample size that we've seen. He can do everything, and he does it well. And I don't think that Quinn Ewers quite has the same ceiling that Arch Manning does. So I do expect similar numbers from him.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely the expectation is for him to take a leap. It's going to be his first year as a starter. So remember, he's got Peyton and Eli guiding him. There's no rush for him either, though. I think he's going to take his time as far as, learning and growing. And unless they win the championship this upcoming season, then maybe he goes into the NFL draft. Otherwise, I think he takes his time, again, gets molded, and just starts to develop as the quarterback that everybody's expecting him to turn out to be.
It certainly helps. Any good quarterback or great quarterback has great talent around him, and few schools can recruit quite like UT. So now when we look ahead, Chris, to this national championship game, Ohio State, Notre Dame, which team wins?
I mean, I got to go with Ohio State. They've clearly been the most impressive team throughout this playoff, and they've had the tougher road. I mean, they had to play Tennessee, they had to play Oregon, they had to play Texas, 3 teams that were in the top 10 for much of this year, and look what they've done defensively. I mean, they held Indiana, who was the top 5 team during the regular season, to just 15 points, and then here in the playoff, they've held Tennessee to 17, Oregon to 21, and they just held that high-flying Texas offense to only 14. Jack Sawyer is a wrecking ball. That Buckeye secondary has been lights out. I think there's a reason why they're over a touchdown favorite over the Irish. The Buckeyes are clearly the best team in the country.
I second Ohio State. You?
Yes, third Ohio State. They've by far been the most dominant team that I've seen play. But there is just something about that green and gold of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I don't know. But yes, Ohio State for me.
Look, the Notre Dame is the Cinderella story, right? But Ohio State is a 9-point favorite. I agree with what everybody's saying here. I think, 4 in a row here, Ohio State takes it.
All right, so everybody going with the Buckeyes. Chris Gordy from the Locked On SEC podcast. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And as always, you're welcome back anytime.
Thanks, guys.